In this video, we are going to discuss about Andhra Pradesh State Syllabus Social Chapter 4, that is Climate of India. In that, climate and weather along with the factors influencing climate and weather we are going to discuss in this video. The lesson starts with a newspaper report. Freak weather offshoot of climate change experts. Intermittent showers in Hyderabad have bewildered meteorological officials, while climate change experts said it is increasingly becoming difficult to predict future weather events in the country. For the last 2 years, we have noticed that the weather systems are behaving in a peculiar way, resulting in unusual weather events. After observing such unforeseen situations like extreme summer in the country, sudden hailstorm in Chevella region of Renkareddy district, cloudbursts in Uttarakhand, and early onset of southwest monsoon and late retreat, experts say that weather systems are behaving in a peculiar way. Ongole received 341 mm rainfall in one day, which is more than one-third of the state's total annual rainfall. The heavy showers across the state have damaged several acres of crops, particularly cotton. But in a good news, 75% of the tanks in Andhra Pradesh are full now. Adapted from October 25, 2013, Times of India. Just now, you have listened to a newspaper report. Collect similar newspaper reports and find, are these indicators of some change or just a variation that happened once in a long time? You can discuss with some meteorological officials or with your college faculty. We can go through some more newspaper reports to find the answer. Here you can see another newspaper clipping which was published by the Times of India on June 17, 2015, which talks about the global warming and its effect on India's climate. Here you can see some more words like El Nino and greenhouse gases. Due to that, we are not getting sufficient rains, and the researchers states that it will affect the food production in the country, especially in the South India, and it will have an adverse effect on India's climate. So you can just pause this slide and you can read that one completely. Here you can have a glance at the latest weather report, which is based on the latest cyclone Nivar, which affected the region near Chennai and the coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh. So this is the picture of the cyclone which is approaching the South Indian part, especially near to the Chennai. Then you can see it will affect the areas it will be affected, especially Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh region. And here also you can read about the forecast, what is going to happen, and due to the accurate forecasting of the events like the cyclones, the people can be moved safely to the safer areas, and that will reduce the damage to the human beings. But we cannot avoid the damage to the food crops, so that will also happen. Especially you can see here it affected Nellore, Chittoor, Visakhapatnam, and even my Hyderabad also will be affected, and there were heavy rains in Chennai and nearby areas of Chennai and Pondicherry. Now let us distinguish between climate and weather. Weather, it is a change within a few minutes or hours. But what about the climate? It takes very long time to change. Now let us see what is weather. The definition is, weather is the state or condition of the atmosphere with respect to wind, temperature, moisture, etc. or conditions in the atmosphere of a particular area at a particular point of time. It is a short-term conditions. The weather changes all the time and varies from place to place. Now let us see what is climate. Climate is the description of the long-term average pattern of weather in a particular area. Some scientists define climate as the average weather for a particular region and time period, usually taken over 30 years. Now let us see some of the important elements of weather and climate. They are temperature, pressure, wind, humidity, precipitation, clouds, etc. Here you can see a picture of a climate graph. It is otherwise known as climograph. A climograph is a graphical representation of a location's basic climate. Climographs display data for two variables. Firstly, monthly average temperature, and secondly, monthly average precipitation. These are useful tools to quickly describe a location's climate. Now let us go through climographs of a few places in India such as New Delhi, Leh, Jaipur, Chennai. Here you can see Leh, and below that New Delhi, and near to that Jaipur. Then on the South India there is Chennai. Here you can see the climograph of New Delhi. On the right hand side it is showing the temperature, and on the left hand side it is showing the rainfall in millimeter. Then here you can see the red line that is showing mean maximum temperature. Then the blue line it is showing mean minimum temperature, and here the bar chart it is showing the mean rainfall in millimeter. From this you can get so much information like which is the hottest month, which is the coolest month, in which month Delhi got highest rainfall, and in which month Delhi got the lowest rainfall, etc. Here you can see the climograph of Leh, and the same information as we have discussed about the Delhi's climograph, same information is plotted in this graph also. You can find which is the hottest month, which is the coolest month, in which month Leh got highest rainfall, in which month Leh got lowest rainfall, etc. Observe the graph neatly. Here you can see the climograph of Jaipur. The above way that we have discussed about Leh and New Delhi, the same way you can gather information from this climograph also. Just observe the graph and gather as much as information that you can. Here you can see the climograph of Chennai. Here what you have to observe is that the measurement taken here on the rainfall side, you can see 50, 100, 150, 200. It may be different in the other regions. For example, Leh, if you take the climograph of Leh, you can understand the difference, the measurement taken in both the places. And it may be different in the measurement of the temperature also in the climographs, that you have to understand, because comparatively Chennai is a hot place comparing to Leh. So just compare this climograph with the climograph of Leh, then you will understand the difference. The same way you can gather information about which is the hottest month, which is the coolest month, so on. After observing the above climographs, we can summarize the data into a table. Here you can see the places Jaipur, Leh, Delhi and Chennai. Their relief region. Jaipur belongs to a desert area. Leh is in Himalayas. Delhi is a plain region. Chennai is in a coastal area. Now let us see the range of maximum temperatures during the year, the range of temperatures from highest value to the lowest value. In Jaipur, 41 degree to 23 degrees Celsius. In Leh, it was about 28 degrees Celsius to 3 degrees Celsius. In Delhi, it is 40 degree to 20 degrees Celsius. In Chennai, it is 38 degree to 28 degree Celsius. Now let us see the range of minimum temperatures. In Jaipur, it was 26 degree to 4 degrees Celsius. In Leh, it is 20 degree to 2 degree Celsius. In Delhi, it is 27 degree to 5 degree Celsius. In Chennai, it is 25 degree to 20 degree Celsius. Now let us see the wettest month, that is the highest rainfall that the area received. In Jaipur, it was July and August, about 220 millimeter rain. In Leh, September with 8.5 millimeter rain. Delhi, it is August with 198 millimeter rain. Chennai, the month was November with 355 millimeter rain. Now, the driest month, that means the lowest rainfall received in which month? Jaipur, it was December with 5 millimeter rain. In Leh, October and November with 0.2 millimeter rainfall. In Delhi, it is November with 0.10 millimeter rainfall. Chennai, it is February with 10 millimeter rainfall. Now let us see what are the factors influencing climate and weather. They are otherwise known as climatic controls. They are: first one, latitude; second one, land-water relationship; third, the relief; fourth, upper air circulation. The first factor that affects climate or weather is latitude, or the distance from the equator. So let us see what are latitudes. They are the horizontal lines over the globe. You have studied in 8th class, 9th class about the latitude and their uses also. And the 0° latitude is known as the equator. And from the equator, what is the distance that determines the climate and weather. And also we have to see what are longitudes. The longitudes are the vertical lines over the globe, and the 0° longitude is known as prime meridian or the Greenwich meridian. Here you can see to the north of the equator there are 90 latitudes, and to the south of the equator there are 90 latitudes. So altogether there are 180 latitudes. On the other hand, there are 360 longitudes are there in a globe. Based on the latitudes, the Earth's surface is divided into three regions. They are tropical zone, temperate zone and polar zone. Here you can see the directions. The upside portion, that is the north; downside, that is south; on the right hand side, that is east; and on the left hand side, that is west. In order to understand which is the north latitude and which is the south latitude, you have to follow these directions. Now, tropical zone. This is the area close to the equator. This is the area between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. More specifically, 23.5° north latitude is known as the Tropic of Cancer, and 23.5° southern latitude is known as the Tropic of Capricorn. The area in between these two is known as the tropical zone. Now, temperate zone. The area between tropical zone and polar zone. That means the area between 23.5° latitude and 60° latitude. There are two areas are there. On the north side one area is there, on the south side there is another area is there. These two areas together we consider as temperate zone. Now, polar zone. Here also there are two polar zones are there. On the north side there is north polar zone is there. On the south side south polar zone is there. So the north polar zone is the area between 60° northern latitude and the north pole, and the southern polar zone is 60° southern latitude and the south pole area. These two areas together comprise polar zone. In order to understand about the weather and climate, we need to understand the revolution and rotation of Earth. We have already studied that one. Just let us revise. So, if the earth is moving around the sun, that is known as revolution. So, due to that revolution, there are different seasons occurs. At the same time, the earth also rotates. That means the earth is moving around its own axis. This action is moving from west to east. So that is why we get day and night. So these two motions of earth are very important when we study about the climate and weather. Here we are going to learn about insolation. Insolation is the solar radiation that reaches the Earth's surface. It is measured by the amount of solar energy received per square centimeter per minute. Here, the intensity of insolation is affected by the latitude. The closer to the equator, the sun rays are almost vertical, so the hotter the climate. Here in the picture you can see the sun rays are very fastly reaching to the equator region. It is the shortest distance. And you can see to the polar region it takes much time to travel, and so the radiation from the earth is also will be very low. Due to this reason, the equator region will have a hotter climate and the polar region will have cooler climate. Moving either north or south of the equator, the angle of insolation increases, so the energy is spread out over a larger area. Thus, the greater the latitude, the colder the climate. Now, let us learn about differential heating. As you know, the earth is round. The sunlight near the poles is spread over large area, creating cold air temperature. Here you can see there is north pole is there, south pole is there, both the regions having the same situation. When you move farther from the equator, the sunlight becomes more spread out and weaker, creating slightly cooler air temperature. So in between the area, the equatorial region and the polar region, there also the sunlight is more spread. So there is somewhat a mixture of hot and cooler climate. So median temperature will be there. The locations near the Earth's equator receive direct sunlight, creating warm air temperature. So on the equatorial region there will be hot temperature. So this type of different heating on Earth's surface is known as differential heating. Now you observe the world map and you will get a better idea about the climate of Indonesia and Japan, and the temperature depends on the latitude and the region where the places are located. Here you can see this is Indonesia. It is in the equatorial region. So as we have studied, this Indonesia would have a hotter climate than Japan, and Japan is on the temperate zone. That means between the equatorial region and the polar region. Influence of latitude on climate. Here you can see the polar region will have a low angle of incoming sunlight, and the heat transmitted will be also distributed in a larger area. But when it moves towards the equatorial region, that is in the temperate region and the tropical region, the sunlight strikes more directly. So the angle is direct and it will be more hotter comparing to the polar region. Look at the picture and you will have a better idea about this one. So this is the influence of latitude on climate. Now let us go through the location of India. In India, the southern part lies in the tropical belt closer to the equator. Therefore, this region has higher average temperature than the northern part. So here you can see the Tropic of Cancer is passing through the middle of the India, and India's southern part is in the equatorial region and the northern part is in the temperate region. This is one reason for the climate of Kanyakumari is being entirely different from Bhopal or Delhi. Here in this map of India, you can see clearly that India is divided into two parts by Tropic of Cancer, and the southern part comes under the tropical zone which is close to the equator, and the northern side is in the temperate zone, that is it is between the tropical zone and polar zone. Here you can see the Kanyakumari is at the southern tip of India and it is very near to the equator, that is why it is having a very hot climate. Where you can see the Delhi and Bhopal are in temperate zone, that is why they are having a moderate climate. This is the main reason for the climate of Kanyakumari is being entirely different from Bhopal or Delhi. Here the India's map will give you a clear idea about the location of India. India is situated between 8° north and 37° northern latitudes, and the country is divided into almost two equal parts by the Tropic of Cancer. Now let us learn about the second factor that affects the climate and weather, that is land-water relationship. The land absorbs much of sun's energy as well. However, the water heats up much more slowly than the land, and so the air above the land will be warmer compared to the air over the ocean. The wind will blow from the higher pressure over the water to lower pressure over the land, causing the sea breeze. Here you can see the land heats very quickly, so the air also will heat up very fastly. It will move upward. So there will be a low pressure situation, but the water gets heated very slowly. So here always a high pressure will be there. So from this high pressure to the low pressure, the wind will blow. That is known as the sea breeze. At night, the roles reverse. The air over the ocean is now warmer than the air over the land. This causes low surface pressure to shift to the over the ocean during the night and the high surface pressure to move over the land. Thus the wind will blow from the land to the ocean, creating the land breeze. Here you can see, here is the low pressure, here is the high pressure. So from land the breeze will blow to the sea. This is known as the land breeze. This picture will give you a clear idea about the sea breeze. Here you can see during the daytime the land is warmer and sea is cooler. Due to the land is get heated very fastly, the air surrounding to the land will be also heated and that warm air will move upwards. But the sea gets heated very slowly. That is why the sea is cooler and this area will have a high pressure, whereas in the land it will be a low pressure area. So the air will move from the high pressure area to the low pressure area. So the wind is blowing from the ocean to the land. This is known as the sea breeze. This picture will give you a clear idea about the land breeze. During night time, the land becomes cooler very fastly, whereas the sea remains warmer. So there is low pressure situation in the sea region and high pressure situation in the land area. So the wind will blow from land to the sea. This is known as the land breeze. Darker areas such as heavily vegetated regions tend to be good absorbers. Lighter areas such as snow and ice covered regions tend to be good reflectors. The third factor that affects the climate is that relief. We have already studied about the relief, that is mountain, plateau, valley, etc. It is the physical feature of an area. Temperature decreases as altitude increases. That means when the height increases, the temperature decreases. Here the picture clearly shows that 30,000 meters height is there, means the temperature is only 10 degree Celsius. But that it decreased to 2000 meters means the temperature increases to 17 degree. At 1000 meters it is 23.5 degree, whereas at 0 meters altitude it is around the sea level, then the climate will be almost equal to 30 degree Celsius, which means that the temperature decreases as altitude increases. We have already learned that when the altitude increases, the temperature decreases. For example, the hill stations in India have a very cool climate even during the summer. For example, Gulmarg, Shimla, Darjeeling, Ooty, Kodaikanal. Here, Ooty and Kodaikanal are located in the South India and they are very near to the equator. Even though they are having a very cool climate because of their altitude. Here you can see the pictures of some famous hill stations in India like Darjeeling, Kodaikanal, Ooty and Shimla. Now let us learn about the fourth factor that affects the climate of India, that is upper atmospheric circulation. Air in the atmosphere moves around the world in a pattern called global atmospheric circulation. In the tropics near the equator, warm air rises. When it gets about 10 to 15 km or 6 to 9 miles above the Earth's surface, it started to flow away from the equator and towards the poles. Air that rose just north of the equator flows north. Air that rose just south of the equator flows south. When the air cools, it drops back to the ground, flows back towards the equator and warm again. The now warmed air rises again and the pattern repeats. This pattern, known as convection, happens on the global scale. You can see that in the picture. Here in this world map, you can see two types of winds. They are westerlies and easterlies. The westerlies are shown in blue color and easterlies are shown in yellow color and red color. The easterlies are otherwise known as trade winds. The trade winds or easterlies are the permanent east to west prevailing winds that flow in the Earth's equatorial region between 30 degree north and 30 degree south latitudes. The trade winds blow predominantly from the northeast in the northern hemisphere and from the southeast in the southern hemisphere, strengthening during the winter and when the Arctic Oscillation is in its warm phase. Trade winds have been used by captains of sailing ships to cross the world's oceans for centuries and enabled colonial expansion into the Americas and trade routes to become established across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Now let us learn about jet streams. Jet streams are relatively narrow bands of strong wind in the upper levels of the atmosphere. The winds blow from west to east in jet streams, but flow often shifts to the north and south. Jet streams follow the boundaries between hot and cold air. Jet streams form as air in the upper atmosphere moves from south to north and gets deflected to the east by the Coriolis effect. The jet stream will get stronger if the warmer temperature are to south and the colder the air is to the north. Now let us learn about Coriolis effect. The rotation of Earth causes all moving objects in the northern hemisphere, including air mass, to deflect to the right and those in the southern hemisphere to move to the left. This is known as the Coriolis effect. This Coriolis effect is absent at the equator. Coriolis force prevents a direct simple flow from the equator to the poles. This is also known as Ferrel's law. The climate of India is affected by the movement of upper air currents known as jet streams. These are fast flowing air currents in narrow belt in the upper atmosphere above 12,000 meters. The westerly jet streams are responsible for bringing western cyclonic disturbances to the northwest India, resulting rainfall in winters. The easterly jet stream blowing over the North India result in the creation of tropic depressions. The latter play a significant role in the distribution of rainfall in the country. Hope you understood this session very well. Thank you for watching the video presentation.